I recently spent time with my classmates, and during conversation one day, one of my friends was looking at something online, and he said, "Hey, I've got this quiz I want you to take. Let's see if you can answer the following questions." He said there are two groups of questions. The first group is the following. He said, can you name the 5 wealthiest people in the world? And I said, well, no, but I imagine Elon Musk must be somewhere at the top. And he said, can you name the last 3 winners of the Heisman Trophy? And I said, what's that? And then he said, can you name the winner of the Miss America pageant from last year? And I said, of course not. He said, well, you didn't do too well on those questions. Let's see how you do on the next 3. And he said, can you name the person who fed and clothed you when you were helpless? And I said, of course I can. He said, the next question is, can you name your first grade teacher? And I said, of course I can. And then he sort of said, can you name a friend who you would first call in the moment of an emergency? I said, yes, of course I can. He said, well, you've passed, he said, because you know who the salt and the light are in your life. And we laughed and smiled, but it was poignant. But the message was clear that that second group of questions goes to the heart of what our life is all about. Those people who are both the salt and the light in our lives. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter. The winners of other things makes no difference at all. What matters are those people who have been salt to you and light. Salt in ancient times and even to this very day has been used to preserve, cure meat, and protect. Even to this day, it has its healing sort of abilities. And as the deacon reminded me today, the salt that we throw on the ground stops us all from slipping. Does it not? So salt is a very important commodity. It's no wonder that Jesus uses it. And the light, without light we have nothing, right? The light warms us. The light again guides us and heals us, provides us with vitamin D or E, one of those vitamins, but the things that we need for life. Salt and light, they're there before us. So it's no coincidence that Jesus tells us today to be the salt and to be the light. And each one of us, in the same way I named those people who have been salt and light to me, you can do the same. But Jesus goes that much further and says that you too are the salt and you are the light. So we ask ourselves the question, in what ways are we salt and light to others? When I was 16, I came across a very young priest, recently ordained, who was different to the other priests because he seemed to enjoy being a priest and seemed to have joy and enthusiasm for the faith. And he always encouraged us, to aim high and to be, fruitful in the things we did as Catholics. And we were all kind of captivated by him and the things that he told us. He was in like the salt and the light to me at the age of 16. And he said, you just go home now today, all of you, and you listen to a song by David Bowie. And it's called Heroes. He said, because you need to aim to be heroes for Jesus, And that's what faith can do for you. And so we all went home and dutifully listened to the song. And to this very day, when I hear that song, I think of him. But little after the time that I knew him, he died of a brain tumor. And I thought to myself that I'm sure he inspired many people and was salt and light for many people in the world. But even if he was only just salt and light for me, then he would have fulfilled his mission as a priest and as a follower of Jesus, because he inspired me, he guided me, he enlightened me, he protected me from other things, and to this very day is a guiding light. A guiding light. And so today, at 16, I had not much idea about who I was. And at 59, I probably don't have much idea about who I am. That's why the words of Jesus are so important to me even now, when he says definitively to each one of us, you are the salt, you are the light. What are you going to do about it? You see, we put limits on our faith life, on our prayer life, on many things. But he doesn't. Jesus sends us out and inspires us to be far bigger and far greater than we could possibly imagine. But we need to be reminded about that constantly, that we are the salt and we are the light. And there are ways in which we can grow in our faith, which we thought may be impossible, but through Christ all things are possible. So if you ever had any doubt about who you are, or what your mission is, or your vocation, or even any stage of your life, if you ever doubt, what this is all about, then always return to those words, because he says quite clearly that each one of you are the salt and the light, the healers and the protectors, the enlighteners, the inspirers. That's what your life is all about. And I know that the world can take us in different directions, and there are dangers. But if we stay true to what Jesus is telling us today, then we will not go far wrong. And ask yourselves those 3 questions today about who was the person that fed and clothed you when you were helpless. Who's the person you can go to in an emergency? And what's the name of your first grade teacher? That person who first showed you the ways, really, of the world. My first teacher, Miss McGarry, she was Scottish. And I remember distinctly showing us how to make the sign of the cross. I can see her doing it to this very day. She showed me the way. And you all, in your own way, show others the way by being the salt and the light. Let's never forget that today, and to remind ourselves that we are loved and that we are, each one of us, blessed in that special way that Jesus intends us to be, and we should never doubt it. And that's why we come back to this altar time after time after time to be reminded, so that we do not forget who we are. Salt and light, loved and blessed and sent forth. I believe